Mic check. Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
Check 1 2. How do you know if it's like loud enough?
I just watch those dials.
You just
With
take a
my
stab
left,
at it.
I watch those dials with my left eye while I stare using my right.
To be alive if you can't do that.
It's not something that you can just make up about yourself. You have to be able to show that you are as strong as you say you are. Especially if you're competing in strongman.
Oh, like the green
Take a
bars
stab
going.
at it every single time, and
Oh.
sometimes
Every
it
time
works.
we screw it up. You know what? I actually found this program online. I was looking like, how can we regulate it? There's actually a program you can get, and then you take our recording and put it into the program, and you can break each voice down and raise one up. So it'll just take the highs and lows out.
Yeah, that sounds like a whole lot of work that we're not
Yeah,
going to do.
that
though,
seems
so.
like we would need a second sponsor to afford the program.
Welcome to episode 51 of Strong and Petty here at the Iron Age Gym in Winnipeg, Manitoba. We have a very special guest with us today.
Wait, before that, do you know what today is?
What?
Today is 1 year to the day when we recorded our first episode.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
I was going to say we're a week shy of the 52nd episode,
Yep.
but wow. So happy anniversary to us then.
Happy anniversary,
And we have what better way to celebrate could we ask for than to have
our son.
our son, Manitoba's undisputed, certainly currently, and maybe of all time, strongest U231 competitor, Pat Gregoire.
Wow, that's
Pat-
quite the introduction.
Patweek,
Patweek,
Grégoire.
Would you?
Grégoire.
We,
I like gag better.
one of the very few French-speaking Manitoban strongmen, I would say. Congratulations on a great showing at the Arnold's, man. It was really fun to watch you compete there. It was really fun to watch you your prep and everything up to it too.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, that was probably the toughest comp to date. Definitely in terms of weight-wise, it was a very heavy comp, and just the caliber of athletes was next level. So
How was the prep for it
I'm
for
gonna
you?
roll kind of sideways, and I can see.
prep was
Maybe you roll sideways a bit there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Okay, still fits in the camera. Or what?
As long as we can see Pat's face straight on, that's the important thing.
Whoa.
There you go.
Your
Thanks
wife looks
to
at-
shout out to Nicole's Exquisite Styles for
Is she the
keeping
one that
me
was offended about us making fun of your gay haircut?
So giving her a haircut for keeping me the prettiest strongman on the circuit here.
Oh, easily, very easily.
When we were making fun of his haircut being gay, she's like, "Are they saying my haircuts are gay?"
Yeah. No.
So let's talk a little bit about the prep for it, because I think this was probably okay. You've done a couple of bigger shows. Like, say you've done the U31 Canada's Strongest Man that they hold in Regina.
Mm-hmm.
You've done that once or twice?
Regina Peg.
Yeah, just one time last year.
The
That was
one
the
time,
first
right?
one. Yep.
Okay, so that was a big show for you. That was a big competition that you had to prep for, and you had to really prepare, like really pour yourself into a little more than most competitions, I would say. Because previous to that, you've done a lot of, say, like local competitions and like the regional qualifiers and stuff as a 231 guy, where you really dominate the field here in Manitoba. There's nobody really who can touch you right now in that category, except for your coach. And we
Used to be. He fired me after the Arnold's.
We're done. We're through.
I don't blame you. But we see you as a guy who is kind of like getting ready to take that next step in strongman. Like, where the bigger shows are going to probably be a little more normal for you now. OSG's coming up this year, which I don't know if you're that's concrete yet or not, but you have the invite.
We have the invite. We have it on the calendar. We'll see when the time comes, but it's definitely in my radar.
And we have
See when the time comes.
Well, I don't know. It's in December.
You'll
It's
be
like
doing it. You're
yeah,
gonna-
December. You're done in the field. Life's easy again.
yeah.
we have the CSM 105 coming up again for you. So the question I have for you is kind of like, what's the difference? Like, because there is a difference. I know personally for me how it is, but for you, what's the difference between preparing for a show where it's like, you're kind of a lock to go in, like you'd really have to really fuck up to not take it,
Yep.
versus really having no idea where it's going to shake out and how, and like knowing that it's going to be from start to finish a real challenge. Like, you prepare differently for that?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, just knowing it was the Arnold Amateur Strongman, it really mentally it was a big mental struggle for me. Just knowing like this is a big show. It's a global show. You have guys from all across the world that are coming to the show. So when we started our prep, I went hard. I went like really hard because I'm like,
which is something that you do.
Yes.
And I'm not even trying to like make fun of you or whatever. You go very hard. You tend to be an all gas, no brakes kind of guy.
Exactly.
Hey, Pat, let's leave a couple reps to take. Yeah, how about we don't?
like
How about we just expect a couple reps to be there next week from the amount of gains I'm going to put on in one exercise?
Yeah, so like we started 19 weeks out, so that's a big prep. So right off the gate, like I'm like, can't waste time. Like we need to start training hard here. So trying to figure out like with Devin's programming, you're trying to figure out like these 15 rep max to then dial it in percentage wise for your next lift. So like in my mind, I'm not doing the actual 15 reps, but you're like, let's say you get 8. I'm like, I probably have 7 more in the tank, but most of the time probably I did not.
Right.
So probably overshot that a lot. So like my weights were heavy at times, and I think that really definitely wore me down early on the prep. So we had to kind of like
We had to dial things back a bit.
Because you're a guy who comes from a bodybuilding background. Did you compete in bodybuilding? You did, right? Yeah, okay, I thought so.
Yeah,
He did well there.
for 7 years I did bodybuilding, 7 shows.
Because you're a guy, when someone even looks at you now. Okay, so when someone says to me that they'll say like, "Oh, you started doing that bodybuilding thing or whatever," I always have to stop them and correct them because I'm like, "There's no way that I'm allowing you." If they say powerlifting, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you say bodybuilding, I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm allowing you to think that I'm so bad at something that I'm trying to bodybuild right now. I'm not accepting that. If I have a gut like this, no, I'm not bodybuilding. I'm doing strongman.
Yeah.
But you're a guy where someone looks at you and you could still be very easily mistaken for somebody who's getting into bodybuilding or who's doing bodybuilding.
When you placed, did you win junior nationals?
Yeah, so my first year bodybuilding, 2010, it was my first year. I was a junior, so I was 21 years old, and I started with like the local show here, the novice show. Got first, so we moved to provincials. I won provincials, and then so that qualified me for nationals. So I went all the way to nationals, and I won the junior Mr. Canada that year
Really?
too.
Wow, I don't think I knew that about you.
At 21, yeah. So I went as far as I could as a junior, and I won every show, and then after that we just kept going. But yeah, like
You did open nationals too, right?
Yeah, and then in 2012 I did open nationals, placed 10th in my first open weight class.
Which is so great.
Yeah, I was happy. I want to crack top 10. We just made it. And then I did provincials in Manitoba, trying to win the Mr. Manitoba title in 2014. I just came shy from that. And then we did nationals in 2016. Again, that was the first time I came to Winnipeg. And that one I finished second in my weight class again, so just came shy from winning that one, and then that was it. 2016.
Would that be pro status then, right?
If you would have
won,
no,
given a pro card there?
Yeah. So if you would have won your class,
then you went overall.
Then you go in the overall. Then the overall gets that.
That's the thing. The bodybuilding's a little in Canada. It's not like strongman. Where strongman they hand out a couple pro cards at a show. Nationals and bodybuilding is like one pro card if you win, if you beat the guy who's in the super heavies.
Right.
Like one pro card for all the classes.
It's just, you go down the States.
Pretty wild.
You go down the States and they hand them out like candy at some of the bodybuilding shows.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard someone talking about that where it's much harder as a Canadian pro. But then again, you go down the States, there's probably a lot more of them too.
100%.
So it all kind of balances out, I'm sure. But
Yep.
so like when you're
It's like
training
the budget
for
in Canada, it just balances itself.
yeah, absolutely, takes care of itself. When when you're doing your training for strongman stuff now, is it hard for you to kind of shake that mentality of like, because for bodybuilding you're very often looking for failure. You're trying to get to like that end range or that end point of what you can do. And for strongman, so much of that strength is found stopping shy of that. Is that tough for you to calibrate that? Like, is it tough for you to kind of make that work in your head?
At first, yeah. At first, it was a whole different. Well, just never mind. Like I used to bodybuild. It was like a 5-day split. One day you train arms, one day you train back, whatever. And now when we jump to the strongman, it's like, oh, we're deadlifting today. Oh, we're squatting too. we're doing presses. Like, so that took a real long adjustment to get used to. And then it was just after that, like for bodybuilding, yeah, I do cardio and stuff, but like it does not compare to the kind of cardio you do in strongman. So like moving events and stuff like that. So that I was not ready for. So that took a long time to get used to.
And that was a big issue with the start of the prep. From what I've seen is, hey, I'm trying to run the 15-20 max. Kind of learned I ran through a Norwegian protocol with a lot of tempos because Pat didn't like tempos. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I didn't tempos
like that.
Yeah, and so that was hard for him to grasp. And as soon as we get to the heavy sets, the brain turns off, the adrenaline turns on, and he's like, "No, let's just get these weights." I'm like, "We need these weights, these certain tempos," and I drilled the tempos just to get him better form, better technique. Let's drill these small things. Right. But he would, because I think the bodybuilding background, from what I've seen as a coach, he would go. I think I could have done 7 more. But he did the first 8 with adrenaline flying, and then when adrenaline dies off, you really probably only had 3 or 4 left in the tank because adrenaline's gone now, and that's where I think we overshot the numbers.
Right.
Yep. 100%.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Because it's with adrenaline, you just pull, and then you get to the 8, and you're like, oh, now I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Well, we really didn't have 4 more at the tempos needed, or 7 more at the tempos needed. We probably had 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, is there, if we're to compare the two styles, bodybuilding and strongman, is there one that like if you could do one for the rest of your life, would you pick one, or do you not care about that one much more than the other?
Yeah, you know what? They're both different. I used to think bodybuilding was hard until I started strongman, and now I'm like, bodybuilding is easy compared to strongman. Like, I would love to go back to that sort of training.
I think physically it's easier, but I think mentally it might be harder.
So
Honestly.
yeah, like the working out aspect of it, bodybuilding is way easier than strongman. The hard part is the diet part.
But I mean, even the training is so boring, and like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's repetitive.
You have to like really be dialed in and want to get what you want to get out of it, because you're not going to get that immediate reward of like, boom, I just put up fucking 300 on the log, or I just deadlift 700 pounds, or whatever the fuck it might be.
That's right. I mean, like, that's right. You're not chasing numbers.
Your delayed gratification could be years.
Delayed gratification. That's a good way to put it.
It could be years.
Yeah. So when you're another thing about you too, Pat, is that you're maybe not at the moment, but you're typically a very svelte man, and you got the abs, you got like vascularity, definition of the muscles, and all that.
What he's trying
right?
to say is you could look down and see your dick.
You're very unique from most high level strongmen in that way. But we talked about this before on the show here before too, where it's like for a lot of young guys, let's say the guys who are in their early 20s, mid 20s, where we've always trained to look good. That's always, people can say whatever they want. That's always part of it, is the aesthetics, right?
Right.
Eventually, you can kind of shed that if you're man enough, you'll shed that. But if you, not everyone can.
Or if you get depressed.
Yeah, but when you're in those early 20s, it's important to you. So especially a guy like you too, where you train so hard for aesthetics, bodybuilding, and like on a competitive level. How hard was it for you to shed that mentality of like, I gotta have abs, I gotta look a certain way, I gotta be a certain body fat percentage? Is that something you still have a hard time with?
Yes, I do. Well, like when I started strongman, so 2 years ago, I was doing U90.
And you didn't want to go up from there.
I didn't want to go up from there. Like I
shredded U90.
I loved how I looked. Like I felt great and stuff, but whatever. U90 was U90, and I felt like I could move up weight divisions now. So we jumped into 105, and then I put on like 40 some pounds, and at the start I was like, I'm not sure I'm liking this. Like the abs kind of got fluffy, the veins kind of disappeared.
Give me an idea here. So you gained 40 pounds to go from what to what?
Yeah, so I was competing just under 200, I guess, 195-ish, let's say, and then now I jumped up to about 235. So, but now we're talking over a year and some. So now
But your first 20 pounds came on dirty and quick.
Oh, they did. 100% they did. Oh, yeah. That was fluff weight, water weight for sure. Yeah, so that took a while. But now I'm probably getting close to being a year now sitting at this weight. So now I've been able to hold this weight, kind of get rid of a bit of fat, build a bit more muscle. Veins are coming back.
Right.
Feeling better about it. And abs are still sort of there, I guess, at times. But, like, I'm comfortable with this weight now.
Okay, so you're kind of learning to cope with the body change differences.
Yeah,
you're like me, right? You wake up morning, flexing your, I got the morning abs.
That's right.
Right, so I'm saying, yeah,
exactly like you in that way, Devin, for sure.
But the biggest thing was gaining that weight was my cardio.
Right,
the cardio took a shit kick in. Like my first show last year at CSM, that was the hardest one, where I'm like, wow, my cardio is not where it needs to be right now. Like this extra weight is definitely.
I remember you coming back from that show. And you came to the gym. I wasn't coaching you for that show. I think you ran the show yourself.
I don't remember.
I think you ran the show yourself.
Okay.
I might have helped you just with some techniques.
Yeah, I think so.
I remember you coming back and saying, Devin, after the first event, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
I couldn't catch. He was like, I couldn't catch my breath. I couldn't breathe. Mm-hmm. And Isaac Mays finished the event, and it's like the guy just did a walk.
Just walked off.
He couldn't believe it. He said, it took me half an hour to recover, and this guy was ready within 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's where I realized, wow, like he's a whole different caliber athlete. Like he's up here, I'm here. Like I have a lot of work to do. Like the first event, I didn't fail because I physically couldn't do it. But like I didn't fail because I didn't have enough strength to do it. I failed because I could not breathe.
Right.
Like just huffing and puffing like a fat man. Like. And then like the last event, I thought I was gonna pass out behind like the stand, because I couldn't even finish walking with the farmers. Like I was like, I'm done. Like I'm gonna pass out here. Like,
well, something to be said too. I think that a lot of people assume that the smaller guys, and typically they're better conditioned than the bigger guys, but they still got to work at it. It doesn't just come like, it's not something that they just, because they're smaller or because they're lean, that they're not gonna have.
Hey, well, what's my wife's name coming up on your phone for? What? What's going on there?
No, there's nothing.
What's going on there, Pat?
You're on the same group chat.
No, I left it this morning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. You got pissed off and left it, or what?
No, we made an Arnold's group chat for the Arnolds, and I said when I'm done with the Arnolds, I'm gonna off the page, because I get too many group chats for too many business things, and there's too many notifications. I get overwhelmed.
Yeah,
So I left the chat.
Oh,
I'm
I
sure
didn't
someone
notice.
thinks I hate them, but it's like, no, I can't have those notifications rolling in all day.
I'll start a new chat for every competition that we have
Yeah.
coming up. with
But it's just
everybody,
funny how it's like Danielle Penner pops up.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now. Okay, so when one thing about you too, Pat, is that we talk about it all the time on the show.
Okay, we're gonna put this away.
We talk about it a lot. Is when we talk about what you can do in terms of competition stuff coming up, it's all it's seasonal dependent. It's his work dependent and stuff. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what that means and why that's something that we have to always talk about with you?
Yeah, because I'm an agriculture farmer. If no one knows, so full-time job is farming, and ask the wife. Ask her, like, she'll tell you like how hard it is to plan things in the future, like, because you just never know, like with farming in summertime, like the sprayer's always going, so that's all weather dependent, on bug dependent, if you got to go spray for bugs kind of thing. So you just never know. It's so hard to plan ahead of time or commit to something because farming has to come first, and then if I'm not busy on that weekend or whatever, then yeah, we can go do something. But like trying to plan these shows throughout the year, it's especially in summer and springtime, it's very hard because like last year I'm like, yeah, I'll sign up for the Tolstoy, why not, I'll do it, have a little fun with it, and then I ended up being in the cedar that day, like seeding the crops. So
and it's things that can't be changed and moved around and stuff. It's not a 9-to-5 job in that sense either, where it's like
You're literally between
I'm off the clock,
rainfalls.
so I'm done. Yeah,
it's like, okay, I could push the day, or I'm talking he's like, I probably could push the day, but if there were 7 days of sun ahead, but we got 2.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
So no, we have to get this in now. There is no waiting.
Yeah, sometimes you have such limited windows of weather. Everything's weather dependent.
And
always.
moisture and also,
I think it's an interesting thing because I think most people who do strongman have like a real job, like something that
a real
whatever.
job.
But for me it was always bouncing or whatever. So I don't call that a real job. You know what I mean? That's a job that I got.
know what you mean.
I got that to be flexible to work around strongman wrestling and stuff. So it's interesting to have somebody who's like, on one hand, so good at something, like you're a very talented strongman, and on the other hand, like there's just this immovable object in front of you that is just like the job's always going to come first. Your like providing for your family and stuff's always going to come first, right?
Yeah.
So I guess, do you see, like, where do you see yourself going in strongman? Like what's the goals that you have in mind for yourself, so that like, and with that in mind, that you're kind of, I don't want to say tethered because that's the wrong term, because it's not like you're like, I want to do so much more, but my goddamn family. But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but like, it's just there's only so many things open to you.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you see yourself doing in strongman?
Yeah. See, that's I never really thought of it like on the big picture in that aspect. Like I'm just looking at the now and like what's going on now, and like I did nationals last year. That's awesome. That's something I've wanted to do as a strongman. And with nationals now, it gave me the 2 invites to like the Arnold and OSG, like the top 2-3. Well, between OSG, Arnold, and
It'll be the top 2 weight class shows you can do besides Clash.
The biggest show, right? Yeah. So I'm grateful to have had those invitations, and that's why I want to do those shows. But after that, like for 105s, like that's pretty much it. Like I don't know, as far as
that's kind of what I was getting at. Is that like, do you see yourself? Like I know a lot of the guys in the open category are aware of you. They know that you're a really strong guy, and because there's guys say like Mays, Isaac Mays, who goes back and forth between, he'll do an open competition, he'll do a U 105 competition because he's just like really, really good and he can do that. Is that something that you see yourself trying to do, or are you pretty content to stay in that division, or do you see yourself just kind of leaving the division eventually, or what's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, like, so last year was my first full year as a 105, so I feel like I'm just breaking water here. Like we just started 105.
Excluding Magnus. Magnus is open.
Right, that was open. Yeah, but like did CSM 105s, Arnold's. Now I'd like to do OSG. So like I would love to do all those 105 comps first, and then because those are the best of the best 105s competitions out there, and then see where I rank, see where I place, and then after that, depending where I place, I'd probably like to improve on that placing eventually, like maybe do the Arnold's again kind of thing. But at the same time, I'm not opposed to jumping in open shows as well. Like last year, jumping in the Magnus, like that was a lot of fun, like competing in the open class.
And you showed you were very capable of hanging too. There's no like weight class like, oh, he did good for his weight class. You just did very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun to see where I fit in, and like the
you placed mid pack at Magnus.
Yeah, and the Morris Pro-Am, you got
The
third.
Pro-Am, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
so you're showing that you're very capable of hanging. And like that's the thing too, is that it would be a rare thing for you, I think, where you would be a guy who would be competitive in the 231 category, and without gaining very much weight, you would also be competitive in the open category too. Like you wouldn't have to be like, well, I got to put on 20 pounds, because I don't think that would really make sense for you.
It wouldn't.
You know,
No,
like you're really the right height and build to fill out the U231. We keep going back and forth between 105 and 231, but you know what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
You really fill out that category very well because you're so fucking muscular, and you're just the right height for it. But fuck, if you're not strong enough to do the open too, if you wanted to.
Right. Like I feel like I want to try and exhaust the 105s category first.
Sure.
Like to see how far I can make it and see how far I can go. And
Exhaust
then,
all the opportunities.
exactly. Yeah. And then after that, like, why not jump in some pro shows and maybe one day try out Westerns kind of thing. Like but for now, I feel like I'm still in the 105s and I still want to kind of go in that route.
Are you still heeing and hawing over 105 CSM this year?
No, so I got the invite. This week for CSM 105s, and I took a couple days to think about it. Talked to the wife. July 1st is typically an okay time for farming wise.
Okay.
Like unless we get like a super late seeding due to the flood or something. But I think this year
I don't think we're getting any
I don't
flood
think we're
this
getting
year.
a flood. So
No,
I think
I
it's
don't
going to
see
be.
that.
I think it's going to be an early seeding.
We're
So
gonna have a drought this year, if anything.
yeah,
That's what we were
don't say
talking
that.
about.
My
Don't say
bad.
that word. So I think CSM looks good in my radar for this
Great.
year. So I sent them a message yesterday saying, sign me up for CSM 105. So we're gonna do that show this year.
And is that still connected to going to? I don't think it's called Clash anymore, right? It's called PSL now, I think.
Pro
Strongman
Strongman League, yeah.
So they're still connected there. Do you know? or-
Okay, but
You know what?
because
I don't know
Classic's
what-
putting it on with PSL, I guess. Because Classic announced it. Classic
Okay.
Strongman.
Okay, so that's good.
But I
then.
see it's also sanctioned by PSL,
Okay, so,
right?
so then
I'm
I
not
would
sure.
have to assume then that there's still the invite being given to the winner, or
I'm not
or
even
top
sure.
two.
how
Like
that
to the
works.
Clashons, if I would think so.
Yeah, I would think
Yeah.
so. We'll have to confirm that, but hopefully. But either way, we'll have a great representation there, which is nice. It's kind of a shame that Westerns falls on the same day as that one, because I'd love to see you do both of those.
Right.
But
Yeah, you got
West.
Westerns that
filled
day.
up in what, 8 hours?
Yeah, speaking of that, Westerns, we had 25 competitive. I think last year we had 12 or 13 total.
Wow.
That's what we ended up with. And today yesterday they capped it at 25, and they got that almost immediately.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's 12 pros and 13 amateurs in it.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers. So tough fucking field to get that top, especially when some of the amateurs are guys like Andrew Langelaar and stuff. It's going to be a very stiff field to get that top 4 spot to get to CSM.
Yeah. That's going to be a fun show.
But
It's on the island, right?
Yeah, and they've so they now I went over it last time, but they announced all the events and everything and stuff. So now guys can kind of start like
That's a long ways away to prep.
yeah, and
That's really good for competitors.
yeah, and I'm not really going to start prepping for it yet.
No.
Like probably not for another several weeks. But
Did they announce them for the 105 the events?
No, nothing yet. No,
okay.
no. They just sent the invites personally to everyone, and then I think with coming weeks they'll probably announce the show there. But
yeah.
But same here. Like it's so far away, July. Like I'm not gonna start prepping now because it's gonna get me all.
We just talked about how
Yeah.
you're enjoying having this break.
It's
from
nice.
prepping.
The Arnold's done. I feel like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying training again. Let's keep going with that for a
Yeah,
while.
because you weren't in
here.
a good spot
We're in a good spot.
3 weeks ago.
I was ready to burn the whole gym down.
Without getting
He literally comes back. Okay, I won't burn this place down. A couple other things. I won't cut your equipment in half. I'm like, oh, I look at who was it, Brian? I'm like, no, who was it? Was it Gord? I'm like, I guess we should go probably mend his tracks, those tractors that we cut in half.
Jeez. Yeah.
So was there something specific that had you like so there was it one day you came in all hot, or was it kind of several days where you came in hot?
Oh, like the prep not going well.
Okay, so what is there like? What is that like a day? Is that like a week? Is that like over a long period of time where you're feeling like shit like that?
It was a long
or-
period of time. It's probably like, I don't know. I'm gonna say like probably the last month of prep was started
Yeah, I
to
would
go
say 3 to
downhill.
4 weeks. I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've said this before that like Dan went through a similar thing too, where he was just sort of like feeling the stress of it, feeling the pressure. You know, he's none of these guys who are doing these shows are, or very few I should say, are focused solely on this. You're also a guy with kids, you got a wife, you got a job. He's in school right now, he's got a wife at home, he drives in every day. There's lots of stresses in these guys' lives.
Yeah.
And so it all adds up, and then you throw this fucking black cloud of like, oh, you also have the biggest competition of your life coming up in a
Yep.
few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stress for people to deal with. And I told Dan, and I just trying to kind of talk to him a little bit about this, but it's it's a big decision to make to stop being the big fish in a small pond, where you and him are both guys who locally smash competitions, and provincially smash competitions, and it's very easy for you to walk in and win. And then all of a sudden to go into this thing where it's not the same anymore. The pressure's completely different.
I said you go from doing a comp where you can hit every weight for reps.
Right.
I don't even know if I can get that weight.
Hit some of these things.
After a 19-week prep, I still don't know whether I can get that weight for a single.
And then it goes through your head where you, let's say the people who don't know strongman, the people around you but who care about what you're doing, you tell them, hey, I got first place at Strongman Corp Provincials, and they say that's fucking great. Like you must be really great at this. And then you say, oh, I got 7th place at the Arnold's. And they say, oh, that's okay, next time. You know what I mean? Because they don't know. They don't know that it's not the fucking same,
to them, Strongman
right?
Corp was a bigger deal.
Right.
First is
you only got
7th?
First is better than 7th, right? But that's it's hard to explain to people where it's like even if, for example, you say you got 10th in the Open at the at Nationals there, that's not like... That's very, very good. You know what I mean? Like to say you got 10th in the country at anything is fucking amazing. So it's kind of, it takes some checking of your own brain to be like, I'm gonna have to tell people that I didn't do as well as they think that I should do, even though I did better than, you know what I mean? It's kind of an odd thing.
And Gen Pop doesn't understand that. Me and Brian were talking to the gym yesterday because there's a while ago I talked about on the show. We went to that arm wrestling thing in Steinbeck, and that Jeff Dabby was there with those massive arms. Yeah. And my mom gets up and like, "Oh, I'm gonna go. Does he know that you won Manitoba's Strongest Man last year?" Like, no, mom, he doesn't give a shit either. Like, no, mom, I'm 36. I don't even give a shit. But like she's like, well, I'm gonna tell him. Like, mom, you don't say shit. So I sit her back down. We're at the gym yesterday, and Brian's there, and he's like, Devin, I'm gonna tell you an embarrassing story that happened at work the other day. Well, so he works with his dad, Fastbirds, and one of the girls that is doing the novice show, Abby, that walked in, I guess she works for a fire suppression company that does fire extinguisher checking, which Brian had to get all his fire extinguishers for all the machines to be certified. So she rolls in, and Brian's dad's there, being super proud of Brian getting to beat Strongman. Brian's a big dude, and like, this is my son, Brian. Like, this is like does the whole look at how big he is type thing. And Brian knew who she was. He didn't like. They've never exchanged words, but he knew she was coming to the gym.
That's
like,
hilarious.
Devin, I was so fucking embarrassed. And his dad's like, "This is my boy, Brian."
Yeah, that's funny.
Super proud.
Did your dad do that?
No.
Because he's been everything I post about your dad likes. He followed me. He liked. It's just Rolly. Just
Broly loves his social media.
Does he?
Oh, 100%.
Like, so obviously your dad's super proud because he literally likes and shares everything about you.
Your dad's kind of a known figure around here a little bit.
Yeah, he's the local at Bar I and stuff.
2 reasons: the Bar I one, and pretty popular with the ladies around here too.
No. I don't know if I want to hear this. Oh God.
Pretty popular with the ladies, and also are light in the loafers men, some of them too. So
you would love to hear this.
We'll make sure to tag him in the podcast.
He'll definitely be watching this now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to, Devin, while we
Do you have a cool haircut?
Rolly? Yeah, that's where I get my hair from.
I met him when I was when he dropped off your grip shirt for the Arnold's.
Okay, yeah.
He walked in and I was like, you know what? I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. I know where Pat gets it from. He's a very handsome man.
Yeah.
Not the build though. He's I mean, we're probably the same height, but he's 140 pounds soaking wet. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Just small guy.
Take that, Dad.
Yeah.
That's funny because my dad used to, like he said, like, I'm proud of him. Whatever. My dad would always say the same thing where. Someone's like, oh, you're like, they'll comment on how big I am. He's like, yeah, he's almost bigger than me. And then he'll put his arm like up around me like this here. Or yeah, you can almost, maybe one of these days he'll be able to take me, but not today, and all that kind of shit. But
I'm getting, as my daughters are getting older, everything they do now, like Morgan with doing a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and she only gets to her office as I bring her there because I'm a shitty person. And, but, like, anything she does, I'm like, you get, as a dad, I'm finally realizing, like, how proud you're of every little thing they do.
Yeah.
Like, she made
Especially
a poem for school, and I'm like, oh, it's the best fucking poem ever written. I'm almost crying. Like, this is amazing.
I like that because I was going to say, you being a guy who's like, so much of your life is based around physical activity, like, of course you're going to be proud when your daughter gets involved in physical activity. But I do like that she wrote a poem and you like the poem,
oh,
too.
Man,
that's very sweet.
She wrote a slam poem,
yeah.
but then the teachers made her not say it in class.
No.
Oh, censoring her poetry, censoring her artwork.
In grade age 13, they censored. It's like, you can't say that.
Trying to silence young Mennonite voices over here.
Yeah,
I don't appreciate that at all.
She was anti-abortion. She was like, we can't talk about that in school.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm proud. Yeah.
That's fucking tremendous.
Yeah, that's my kids. Well, do you see her? She was log press yesterday. You were there.
Yeah, that was great to see.
There's a prime proud dad moment. We're in the gym,
your daughter hitting a log
press. She picks up the 95-pound farmers and goes for a walk.
Yep.
And I'm yelling, Tyler, Tyler. He turns, just a proud dad. Right?
Yeah.
Look.
I know. I seen that. That's impressive.
It is
And I
very
think she
100 pounds a hand,
weighs.
yeah.
I don't even know if my daughter weighs 100 pounds.
Yeah,
Right.
it's awesome to see that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
she picked up the 95 per pound, went for a walk, then pressed a log,
Yeah.
and I'm like just beaming.
Yeah.
Better than dad already.
I mean, it's something to be said that we've said it before,
Yeah.
but like you and Danielle, I was supposed to say your wife, but
Yeah.
you and Danielle are so physically active and you're involved in the gyms and shit. Like, how could they not? You
Do
know
you know
what I
my
mean?
wife?
Like,
Have you met her?
have you
Wait, this Danielle?
Just
Yeah,
checking,
yeah.
just
We
checking,
we
yeah.
know each other pretty
Yeah.
good.
Is that her name switched to wife?
Oh, that's
Wait, is your
that's
wife
the other
peeking
wife.
me?
Whoa, no, she's not.
I seen that.
What's that?
Jeez,
thing?
his wife's sending him fuel. If they start beaking you, make
Oh.
sure you say this. It seems you got a bunch of dick riders. There's another guy
Yeah.
I
named
got a whole
Mike-
list here.
another
Mike.
little midget, little oompa loompa. Mike
Oh, he
Dirksen.
had your
We
back
stick
there on
together.
the, on
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing.
He's
Yeah.
been beaking me on Instagram since I posted that.
He's like, oh, he's stronger than you or some shit like
He
that.
said,
didn't
what?
he?
Yeah, he's been beaking me on my personal Instagram
Oh,
too.
good. Well, good. Well, you
Standing
guys,
up for Pat.
you guys fired the first shot. I'm like, oh fuck, here we go.
Yeah.
He said,
This is how it starts.
Mike said, damn, that guy is strong. And then he said, does Pat even have time for your show? Which honestly, I would have thought no, but we got him down here, which is
Yeah.
great. And then the last thing he said was, because the page said something about medium Pat. And then it said, medium and still stronger than you. Don't make fun of my boy.
And you know, it's kind
Attaboy,
of funny
Mike.
because I've watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I'm like, that camaraderie of the Oompa Loompas seems
That's
fake.
true, yeah.
But
that's
it's
a great
obviously
point.
real.
No, it's obviously very
We
real.
stick together.
Hey, why don't we
Thanks, Mike.
talk about our favorite realtor for a sec?
Yes. Speaking of that, sponsor the show, Jeremy Wiens. I can't say real. Jeremy Wiens, the best realtor out there. Lo and behold, I shit you not, you guys, because I was talking to him. I'm like, did you shout out Jeremy the last 2 episodes? Like, no, I didn't know. Miscommunications. He was back. I'm literally pulling up here, and Jeremy calls me again, and we're talking about some land that came up, and he's like, if this land comes up, you told me to tell you because I'm looking at a piece of land. And I'm like, Jeremy, I'm actually just rolling in the podcast. Like, man, do I got some good luck rolling in. Literally, he's called me the last 3 episodes as I'm rolling
Every
the podcast.
time.
I'm like, I got to let you go, man. I actually got to go to this place and get this shit done. But great support of the show.
Yep.
It looks like I'm yelling. I should turn my mic down. Great support of the show. Great realtor. I've done a ton of biz with him. You referred guys to him. It's If you're looking for a realtor, that is the only guy to go with.
Yeah, it truly is. In anywhere in at least southern Manitoba.
Yeah,
and
give
maybe-
him a follow. He's on because if you follow his Instagram, he's on a weight loss journey himself. He posts some motivational videos every day, trying to keep himself accountable.
Yeah, it's great.
And give him some words of encouragement. He's doing a good job.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy Wiens. So Pat, to talk a little bit more about what you got coming up there. What do you know a lot about the field of guys for the competitors at CSM 105?
No, not sure. I mean, depending if it's most guys from last year, I'm assuming, then
We know Sam Risling is out, right? Sam Risling got second last year, and he's confirmed that he's doing Westerns Open this year.
Okay,
Okay.
so he's going up
Okay.
to.
Yes. So
Okay.
that leaves a huge gap.
Yep.
Yeah.
That leaves a big opening there.
Yeah,
So
I seen Mays posted on his social media about the CSM, so he said something, he was taking the title for me kind of thing, so I'm thinking Mays is doing it.
Okay.
A couple other guys from the list kind
I'm sure
of.
Jesse Campbell will probably do it again.
I've seen guys starting
there's
to
him.
post more lifts and stuff that I haven't
Yeah.
seen posting in a little while. So maybe it's kind of getting people's gears
We
in their
have any
heads going a
105
little
guys
bit.
from Manitoba besides. This sounds really bad. Mark
Well,
Sherman, but anything.
Daniel did it last year.
Mondor would be a guy. Yeah,
If he put on a couple pounds, he would.
right?
Yeah, he Dan Mondor did
Dan
it.
Mondor, the young guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did it last year.
Yeah, me and
But
him
he
went out.
came in at like probably 205 pounds, right? Because he was doing
Yeah, he's-
90.
Yeah,
If he would actually gain some weight to 231, he would be a good
He's
force to
he's
reckon
got a
with.
good frame
Yep.
for it and everything.
He does, yeah, and he's strong.
Yep.
Let me pose this question to you then, Pat. So let's say last year, transplant that same roster. You know, maybe we take out Sam Risling because he's not going to be there. Where do you see yourself stacking up this year compared to last year? Like you've obviously improved a ton.
Well,
and everyone else has too, I'm sure. But let's just say,
Right.
where do you see yourself?
last year we just came short of podium. We finished 4th, so this year's goal would be to try and podium.
Yeah.
Where I don't know. I mean, Mays is still. I still think he's like on another kind of level
Yeah.
of athlete there. But I mean,
He's a pretty remarkable competitor.
Yeah.
In terms, like it's
For how long he stayed at the top.
yeah, consistently good for a long time.
Usually
and-
guys go up and they go down.
Yeah, he's been good since like 2017. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty wild.
yeah. Like I mean, I feel like he'd have to be off his game to try and close that gap.
But hey, man, you know it's a sport, and that's
Yeah.
the thing is that like anything can happen. In any like that's the fun of strongman compared to something say like powerlifting or Olympic lifting, where obviously there's variations there too. But for the most part, those things you kind of go into it knowing what you're gonna get.
Well, the
Right.
advantage you have is there's with Maze has been at the top so long. Maze isn't making giant progress every single year because there's only so much a 231 guy can put on his frame. So his strength is here, and he's going to put on small percentage every year.
Yep.
Where that's why it always sucks being at the top in a sense because everybody closed that gap
Right.
a lot faster, and you can't lengthen
Sure.
it.
Right.
Like your deadlift, I would say is past his.
Right.
If I'm right, I think you won the deadlift last year, didn't you?
Yeah. No, I did win that event last year. So,
Your pressing's up at least 10%.
oh yeah, I feel like I've
So those
improved.
gaps are closing.
Yeah, I've improved
he-
from
and he-
last year for sure.
And Isaac's an interesting guy though too, because he's another guy who's sort of a slave to his work schedule.
Right.
So last year, I know he was really
Yeah.
not as prepped for a lot of shows as he would have liked to have been, Clash included.
Dude, he rolled in the day after,
Yeah.
or the morning of. He would sign up at some shows.
Yeah,
Right,
so he was not where he wanted to be. I think training wise. So it's interesting to see. He seems like he's a little bit more consistent these days. I don't know for sure because I don't contact him all that much, but I do
sure
see
either.
him lifting a little more in his videos and stuff. So I'd be curious to see how he shows up.
Yeah, like I feel like I've improved a lot from last year, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking other guys will have improved too. But no, I'm feeling optimistic about CSM. I think we could try and hang there and maybe try and get on that podium. And
Who did take third last year?
Liam,
Oh, yeah, from Calgary.
zone
Pulse.
smelling salts there.
No, Leo Paulson's a big guy, I think. Leo
Yeah.
Paulson, you're thinking of.
Yeah, Liam, who's
Oh, I was spacing on his name, but he's a great guy who
Yeah.
Zone has sponsored us before in the past. But he's yes, I know exactly who you're talking about.
was he own zone out there?
Yeah, he did. He
shit.
did Westerns the year that I did it too. There,
Oh, so he's done the open westerns as well,
yeah,
and then he cut the weight. to
he's
get
very
to-
strong. He's got a great deadlift, and yeah, he's a
Right,
very
yeah.
strong dude.
Yeah, he's very strong. Yeah.
So then, what's the schedule look like for you locally? Where can people see you competing this season? In Manitoba, around the hometown there.
Yeah, well, the next show that's I'm planning on doing, well, hometown, it's Morris, the Manitoba Strongest Man. That's June 8th.
Shout out Rumble in the Valley.
Yes, absolutely. And Flatlanders Diesel.
Damn
Yeah.
right. Yep.
So we're definitely gonna do that show. That should work out too.
Well, you know Strats personally. You trained with him for a while.
Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, when I used to train in Morris, he used to come. Yeah, when I used to train at the Morris gym, he used to be there quite
And
often.
he sponsored that whole thing for us both
Yep.
years now.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy.
Big dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We can see, so Manitoba Strongest Man. I think that it'll be a really interesting competition this season with you and Dan being both more ready than you've ever been to. Either one of you could very well unseat me in that one. You
Yeah.
won't, but you can try really, really hard.
Depending what the events are.
Yeah, we haven't decided the
trying to-
events at all yet, and I think that we're going to try to do a little more of a
I've got a couple in my head because I said I'm going to make the event solely myself, so there's no favoritism to
yeah.
anybody. Because
Yeah,
that's
you
the
know,
last thing.
you coaching Pat is no way.
I'm not
for
coaching.
There's
you being Pat's best friend is not favoritism to it at all.
I've known you longer than Pat.
Is that true?
No, probably, yeah. But I know of Pat. When did you
known-
start at my gym?
yeah, only
2020 after COVID.
2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
I always known of him like through the bodybuilding scene because
Yeah, he'd send me nudes and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say prominent
Well-
bodybuilder Devin Penner.
yeah, I mean I've known Daniel for a while too, and
yeah, for a long time. Yeah, long time.
but I originally
Well, I'm sure it was a short time.
Doesn't have to be long if it's not good, you know.
but but through the bodybuilding scene like this, I met Janaea originally through
Janaya.
that.
No, man, I love that. Good.
Did it?
Janaya
no,
Twain?
No, I didn't. I said it right.
Janaya
Janaea.
Twain?
No, and then through Janaea, then I met Devin and stuff. So
Really,
yeah,
I've
Been a fairy tale since. Yeah, it's only been 2 years
You
with
guys
each
are
other.
ridiculously close for having only been
Yeah.
a couple of years. That's
Yeah.
great.
But I'm that way. If I meet somebody
That's
that we
true,
get along,
yeah.
I have a very small circle. So
People are
Yeah.
surprised how short of a time that we've really known each other because really we only
Yeah.
became like close during COVID.
yeah,
And like I was aware of you since about 2016, but
Yeah.
I didn't really know you in that
no,
well
we
until
exchanged
COVID.
highs, and that's I know this guy. That was
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
yeah.
basically.
I remember every time I see him, like, I'm gonna come to your gym one day.
Yeah,
Like I'm
yeah,
gonna.
you
I'm
and
gonna
Juice every time.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming.
gonna come.
You freaking Morris guys, they never showing up.
Yeah.
But no, the events. I have a couple. I'm still trying to figure out which comp to plug in the bench press.
I think that would be the right place to do it. Honestly,
I was thinking
but
of bringing
we'll-
my fat pad, and I'm like, and
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do the. I want to see the
That would
car
be a
bench
fun
press.
one.
That's good.
I still want to do. I want to steal the idea from the Arnolds that they had the sandbag throw because we have the 3 apparatuses
And they're made for it.
and they'd be perfect for that.
that
Ours
was
would be better than the Arnold setup.
Dude, wait. That was you hit the one and the next guy misses his throat 'cause it's waving around. Like, what a...
I did not love that setup.
And I tell you what, I was looking at the heights and those weren't 15, 16. Man, I've seen them stacked against
They were
I'm like,
really
they were
hot,
using
hot.
2x6s, I think it was. And I'm like, that's more than 12 inches. And there was like at 11. They weren't exactly 15, 16.
It definitely seemed high to me, but I mean, as long as it's the same for everybody, I guess.
It was the same for everybody.
Yeah, but they that was one thing with the Arnolds. As somebody who's put on shows, I really try to like whatever. But a lot of money is spent on those fucking things, and and a lot of time is put into it, and a lot of effort and stuff. So I think that makes criticisms valid and stuff. But those throwing apparatuses were dog shit.
Yeah.
And they got and same with the baskets to throw the sandbags into.
Yeah.
Dude, the guy broke the one.
They broke immediately. The girls were
Yeah.
breaking them with their sandbag weights. Never mind once the guys start throwing 350
Dude,
sandbags.
I
in
felt
there.
bad for the one Canadian. He went up for his run sandbag. He was podium. He was going to finals,
went
and his
under
bag
the
falls
fucking-
underneath, and
yeah.
he couldn't pull it out,
I
and he
couldn't believe
lost
it.
his
I
finals
seen
because of
that.
that.
I
Couldn't
know.
believe that
I
when I
know.
saw it.
I was
saw that.
watching. I'm like, man, I'm hoping this thing, and they wouldn't let him run around and grab it. He had to pull it through the front.
That's strange. What would be?
I don't know.
Like, why would that be?
I
the
do
rules?
not know.
That was
I
brutal.
felt so bad because he had finals locked down.
I know.
Yeah.
He would have been podium.
Yep.
Yeah. That's just bad luck, and I wouldn't blame the promoters for that kind of stuff.
Nope,
That's
that
just
wasn't
like,
the
that's
promoters
just,
thing
that's
at all.
just crazy.
Yep.
But I do wish like it would have taken very little just to weld a basket rather than have the wooden kind of crate kind of deal.
Yeah.
Whatever. But the throwing one was really kind of one where I was like,
But watching that show,
like,
and I mean,
that's-
being promoters, and just doing nationals, I was there and I was talking to Magnus and I was talking to a bunch of different guys about the different shows and Max and them and I'm just looking at the way that went on. They had very similar level or number of athletes we had to nationals.
Sure.
We ran 5 events, they ran 4, and then the finals the next day. And we ran it a couple hours faster.
yeah. That was I really wish they could have found a way to tighten up the time on that a little bit.
That
Which I'm just like
was-
I was really proud in how I'm like, man. So it's hard to gauge. We just gauge ourselves off of last year's nationals, which was the first one they were trying to get going in Thunder Bay, and so there's a lot of the faults, and then you go to a show like Arnold's, which is one of the biggest shows for amateurs in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm like, we
one,
ran it-
one of the top 2 biggest.
Yeah,
I
we
would
ran
say,
it more efficient.
Oh,
I'm
100%.
just proud of the team we brought together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we say we don't mean me and
Yeah.
Devin. We mean
no. That's why I said like,
everybody who
the
did
team.
It.
Yeah, like the team we brought, the community we have here in Manitoba and Canada in general that came out and helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Pretty wild.
It was a long show. Arnold was wow.
Dude.
Like for only 4 events, taking all day like that.
I mean,
that
you
was,
got there at what 8?
yeah.
We got there at 8 o'clock
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And we were there
We
till
only left till
7 or
7:30.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
4 events.
with no
Like,
supper.
I felt so bad.
We didn't even get a chance to run out of food.
No. For the people who had to stay for the finals, they had to stay for another rules meeting after that and shit. I was like, man,
Right.
that's this poor guy. Like, just let him go home, go to bed. Like,
But I was talking to like James Diffenbo, because he competed back in Winkler all the time,
Right.
And he's a big part of that. Him and Dion put it on the show, and he had said like they had set a rules here. We don't know, or said bear with us on Sunday because we're getting moved around, and I think they had events at 3 different locations.
Every
right?
event was a different place.
And they're like, we
Yep.
just found this out too. Like it sounded like they just got told, no, you're not here. You're moving around for your
yeah.
finals, and they're just rolling with the punches.
I mean, I will say that's one thing about the Arnolds is that it seems like there's a lot of there could be better training going on of their people. I think to know what's going. And I'm sure like so stuff like that things change whatever.
Yeah.
But like, man, I was walking around trying to find out. I'm like, I want to watch the pro show, the men's and women's. I know that the pros men's cost its own ticket. I was trying to find out if the women's cost its own ticket too.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, it's like, yes, of course they do because they're on the same stage. I didn't know that
Yeah.
when it was happening. But like, I asked 4 or 5 people who worked there who pointed me. It's like I was like, okay, go over this person. Actually, go to this person. Go to this person. And I was walking in circles. I'm like, and eventually Steph Biz from Thunder Bay was like, yeah, you have to buy a ticket. And I was like, okay, great, thank you. Fuck.
Well,
Like,
me and Dale spent
she's like,
$900 on our
here's how.
tickets. We spent $900 on our tickets. Couldn't watch the finals because it was the exact same time Pat's competing.
Yeah.
And I could have gotten the whole weekend for what we've seen for $150.
Yep.
Same here.
So we lost $750 today. I'm
Yeah.
like, my goodness, that was an expensive little trip.
Yep.
And that's the thing is that it's one of those things where it's like, but if you show, like, I was really nervous because I didn't buy anything until I got there. Because I spoke to Terry Rady and he was like, yeah, you get a free pass as the coach. And I didn't really think about it. I'm like, oh, maybe that means like just to the day of competition, or maybe that means just during competition. I have to leave right after. I didn't really think too much about it. And luckily when I got there, it was, you get the pass for the whole thing, whatever. But then I still had to buy the strongman. The 1-day tickets were fucking expensive enough, that's for sure. But that's neither here nor there. It's they like I said before.
Cool experience, though.
The market's there for it. So what are you gonna do?
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, no, it was a great show. Like it was a tough show, but like in between events, like I remember I was in between. What was the one event? I was just crashing after that one. I think it was the squats. That burned me out pretty good. I'm just sitting in the back trying to recover my legs and just trying to find the motivation, energy to do the last event, and then I just go walk to the bathroom, take a piss, and I'm like looking around, like, oh yeah, shit, you're at the Arnold here. Like,
that was one event.
Like-
It's important to kind of keep that stuff in mind
Yeah.
too. You know what I mean?
That
Yeah,
event
like-
was one event that was very poorly reffed.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
that third lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy, like, and I've seen Terry had commented on it too because he had people in the third lane too.
Yeah.
And I get that you're running 4 judges who are volunteering their time, and I can't be too critical. My goodness,
But
the one guy used the apparatus to his advantage. He Ryan DeLollied that thing, that piece of shit.
Yeah.
Tall guy, you didn't see it, but in the third lane, tall guy, and well, I was surprised they didn't put a line where you had to stand, which is okay. People can really hinge on this thing a bit. But the one guy just turned into a good morning.
Yep.
And his ass actually touched the apparatus in the back. His ass cheeks wrapped around that apparatus back every time. And he literally just did a good morning. He had knee wraps on, but he didn't even come down even to a half squat.
Yeah.
And he just did good mornings and did phenomenal.
Dude, I think it's this guy. I think he was in my class. I just found his video yesterday, and I'm like, why the fuck didn't I do that?
See, we were training like a very traditional, like Olympic kind of style squat because we wanted to use the reps.
This one. Yeah, look at that.
And
Let's take a look here.
I'm like, what?
YouTube video, watch our reaction.
yeah. Oh yeah, see that's literally and it's very smart. That's exactly what he should have done in that situation. He's got-
And he ended up cranking 9.
Look at how fast he actually got the bounce.
Yeah. Like, look at that.
yeah,
That's that third ref.
Okay, well
That was my riff. But yeah, he ended
that
up.
was not great officiating on that.
But that
one,
happens.
watching that,
I've screwed
but-
up calls too. So
Yeah, but he won that event. Good for him. But after watching that, I'm like, shit, why didn't I do that? Like, I was
if
so.
your coach is too much of a rule.
But we never.
Tyler's like, you're not cheating, you're not trying. And I'm like, you fucking cheat, I'll kill you.
See, but Dan figured out too when he was doing it though too. He's like he did like very much like was when we were training here, we were doing squats off the pins, and he was doing like a very typical like Olympic kind of style squat, knees forward, the way that he would do it with his lifting shoes.
Yep.
And then when we found out that they were measuring you without your shoes on,
Yep.
to put on your shoes would be just silly at
Yep.
that point. So he did like a very like powerlifting style, like shins pretty upright, hips back squat, and that worked pretty well for him too. And then if you're tall enough, you could make the fucking
So the reason
that
we did
work, you
we
know?
did the more Olympic style squatter bit is because we wrapped his knees pretty tight. I'm like, let's make sure we get everything we can out of these wraps.
Right.
Did you wrap them at the competition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't have a problem getting into the apparatus?
No, I wrapped him and we were able to squeeze under.
We tried on different tensions. So me and Gord, like we tried on how tight you want them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then so I'm feet are forward because I'm trying to use more of the strap of the wraps.
Right,
and
yeah.
But then after watching his video, I'm like, why, man, I should have tried something like this. Like I could have just
Might have got 2 more.
muscled
Coulda,
my
woulda,
lower
shoulda,
back. Yeah, like I got 9 reps, one taken away, 8 reps, but this guy got 19. Like he got more than double what I got.
What did you lose one for?
The down command.
The
Or
up command.
the up command.
Jumped.
With the same ref that was letting him
The same-
bounce,
took the same
took
ref.
one away.
Yeah. So
I see.
that was unfortunate. But
Well, let's say this: you get if you got invited again next year, would you do it all over again?
I want to do it all over again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah. But now to go get that invite, I'd have to go through nationals again, I guess, or something. I don't know.
How about this? Let's say this. Do you have any advice for somebody who would be going to the Arnolds as a competitor for their first time?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
Let's say
a good one.
let's kind of break it down a little bit. Let's say what should they? Is there anything specific that you wish you had brought that you didn't bring, or that you're glad that you did bring?
The way prep was going at the end, I was hoping that was just prep, and once I got to the show, things would just click, and they did. The day of the show, I'm happy with the way everything went.
You don't have to pull in the punches. You can say what you want.
No.
No, I mean like physical things, like things that you packed and brought, or whatever that you were
more
as like an athlete that you were like, I wish I had brought this or not brought this.
More Rice Krispies. Thanks to Jan for giving me a bag of Rice Krispies.
She hooked it up, eh?
I did not bring enough, but after
Dude, yeah.
we have after listening to the athletes meeting, what was his name?
That pro body coach, that nutrition guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of give us a little nutritional 20-minute kind of spiel, whatever. And like normally, like for my strongman, I'll bring like tons of like Gatorade and like coconut water, and I'm drinking and pissing. And where he said the opposite.
Yeah.
He said, put away your liquid sugar drinks.
Yeah,
and
no carb drinks.
Yeah.
So I just ate tons of Rice Krispies, and like I brought raisin bread and stuff, and
sip as needed.
And sip as needed. And I ran to the bathroom maybe just a few times, but I felt better overall.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So just little things like that.
So the intra nutrition is something that you would worked on a little bit with that. That's
Yeah,
good.
because I'm always trying to play with that, like, what should you bring? What
Yeah.
should you eat? Like, how much do I eat? Kind of thing. But like,
Is there any advice you'd give guys going into the first show, having a prep like you had, where you were
Sure,
feeling
yeah,
like
that's
shit?
good advice.
Like you no lie, man, you had some rough times during that prep,
yeah,
mentally and physically.
that's a tough one because I mean,
Because guys will get down. Any advice to guys who are getting down their prep, like mentally?
that
That was your first time you went through that.
was the first time. Yeah. And now coming out of it, it's like I think it was a perfectly normal reaction just because of the high caliber show and the stress I put on myself and that wanting to achieve greatness kind of thing. Like, I can't just go into the show and just half-ass it, be like, whatever happens. I'm like, no, I'm going in the show because I train for it and I want to win. So like when things aren't moving in the gym like they're supposed to, like for example, like the circus dumbbell, the 220 pound circus dumbbell, I never got it once in training. So like failing training like that, yeah, that puts a mental struggle.
Week after week.
Yeah, you start to get down on yourself, like, like, why am I even doing this show? Am I even going to hang with these guys kind of thing? Like, what's the point? But I kind of had to just be, like, accepting of, you know what, I'm not going to get it, or I haven't gotten in training. Maybe I'll get it the day of the show, but if not, whatever. Let's just try. My goal is to run through the 5 first presses and be content with that.
As fast as you can,
yeah. And we did that, and
that's what you did, right?
Yeah, I got through the 5, and I got to the dumbbell. I attempted it. It wasn't there, but that's okay.
And I guess the thing is, because I was coaching you, is I was telling you, and I knew I can tell you it, but it's easy. It's not easy to take in. But I was saying, just trust the process. I promise you'll be there comp day, but you're feeling down. You're feeling like shit. Yeah. And I'm trying to tell him, man, I swear this is how these preps go. It'll be worth it. But tell a guy who's missing implements. You're feeling like shit. You had a sickness for the last 4 weeks that you could not kick
issues,
or 5 weeks, like just sick as a dog. Get in the gym, coughing up chunks of phlegm every workout. We can't get past that. Yeah. And I'm just like, no, man, like just trust it. I'm telling you, me not telling myself, no, Devin, just trust the process you laid out. Man. You laid out this protocol. I swear it's gonna work. Right? Like in my head, everything's gonna work. Right. But I'm with how he was feeling. I'm like, man, like I'm really hoping comp day this all comes together the way we planned.
Right. You did keep saying that.
I've never prepped a guy for that big of a show. I'm like, it's no different that big of a show or a small show. Prep is a prep. In terms of like coaches laying out, like I know it was heavier, but I'm like, no, this is the process. We'll get there. Right. And we started at 9 weeks. I told him like, this is going to be your hardest prep because there's weights that you haven't hit yet, and it's going to be grueling. I'm like, it's going to be hard, but I swear I'll get you there.
But I would say too that you maybe not giving yourself enough credit on that one. That you know the reps and sets are the same. Yes. But you, as a coach for somebody who's taking somebody to the biggest show they've ever been to, it's not the same.
Yeah, no, it was hard for me.
It's different. You know what I mean? And I'm speaking to somebody who just did the exact same thing. Like
you did the same with Dan.
Right. I can give them the same. The workout is, you know, if for whatever reason we were doing Tolstoy and it had the exact same sets or events and sets and weights, then I would train it the exact same way. But you have to be able to practice the human element of coaching too. Yeah. When Pat shows up and he's pissed off and he's upset that last week he missed a weight and this week he's already anticipating he's going to miss it again. Yeah. You know, I'm just coming up with a scenario, but if you as the coach can't talk him off that cliff, you're not. Then you as the coach aren't ready for this. And luckily you were obviously able.
Well, that was it. Yeah, and we did have that. There was a day you showed up and you made a comment. You don't know it, but you made a comment to me that set me from 0 to 100. And it was you made it, and it was leading into prep.
Love to hear this
you were kind of in a bad mood, and you snapped a comment at me. And me being like, as much as I'm a calm, I like to joke around. There's a side of me, and I literally held. I was like, I'm gonna pop this fucker right in the mouth. And it was a couple weeks up, and I'm like, no. I texted her. I'm like, I told her what happened. I'm like, he's emotional. I know he's stressed out. Things aren't going well. I have to take it with that grain of salt. But in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna knock this motherfucker out. I'm like, as a buddy and a coach, I'm like, I'm gonna hit this. I'm like, no, I can't, because I knew I've been there and I've made comments out of stress that I was.
Do you want to share the comment?
No, we're just gonna leave it that.
Do you remember it? I don't remember it. Yeah, well, you have to tell me later.
Yeah. Because it set me from 0 to 100, and I was like, I literally was like, "Fuck!"
I'd love to hear that fucking comment. I'll tell you that right now. I really hope that off the air we can share this comment.
Because there's very few that get to me. Like I'm like, yeah.
But that's the thing too, is that obviously it's not as high stress.
Well, and we train together as much as we could.
It puts a stress on you too. Like you care about how your guy's doing, and everyone's kind of.
But my back is not there, so I'm literally going in and lifting with him. Trying, I'm like, I got to keep motivated. I can tell he's struggling. I'm just gonna lift, and I literally pull like a couple sets deadlift. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm actually good for today, and I'll pay for that for a week and a half. I can't get out of bed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't know it. I'm like, fuck, I fucked myself again. But you know what? Pat got a good workout in, so I'm okay. There's always physio next week.
No, like saying that, like having had a training partner like with you by your side. And I wasn't
there all the time, but
no, like just the few times you were with me, like that made a hell of a difference. Like it was just nice having someone doing the same workouts as you and just like setting up equipment. Never mind, like
that goes a long way too.
Oh man,
yeah, I would help get all the equipment ready. Yeah, and I'm good at even if I'm having a bad day or I'm just like exhausted. You know, I don't work physically, but my head is exhausted with all my businesses and shit. And I was willing. I can tell he's down. I can flick a switch and just start yelling at people and act like I'm just the most energetic person in the world for an hour. And these guys say, where the fuck's this energy from? I'm like, oh man, I'm just feeling great. Meanwhile, in my head, I want to blow my head off. I'm exhausted.
I'm fired up. Aren't you fired up?
Yeah.
Where'd you fire
So
up
I did
like
that
me?
a couple times in the last couple weeks, trying to get him. Even Brian was having bad days.
And that's the that's. If you
then I go inside,
recognizing what your clients need,
cried
give
at
it to
Danielle.
them.
Yeah, and right, and telling me when to shut down when things aren't working.
Yeah.
Like when the pressing's not working, and I'm just trying to keep hammering it, and you're like, no, just stop. I'm like, hey, good. Like,
Yeah.
I need
And
someone just to tell me
I'm going to
that.
run it one more time. No, you're done.
Yeah,
Shut it down. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can pretty much leave it at that for today, right?
Yeah, we're 56 minutes.
Yeah,
So
so
anything else you want to touch on?
Let's do a quick run through of what we got coming up here. So this weekend, this Saturday already, we have the charity log comp here. Are you coming in for that one, Pat?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be lifting, but I'm going to come and
I think it's
hang
going to
out
be an
for the
interesting
day.
show because I think a lot of the big dogs aren't lifting at this one. We have a huge list of people.
Who's
We
not
have,
lifting?
Yeah.
Nobody at this table, and not
Oh,
Dan.
you're not lifting.
You know what? Honestly, like I feel bad because it's like so much work the day of here.
It is. It's
I slough it all off to the people here who are far too kind to me
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh, I got to go warm up and I got to do this. And I
Well,
gotta
I'm
do that.
coming
So-
in to help you.
Well, I appreciate that, but
Yeah.
I'm still gonna. I'm just gonna help out this time, and that's fine. I'll hit a little
You heard that, though? You
single
said
mile on my own on
A
Sunday.
couple of the big dogs aren't lifting. You met me. You
Oh,
That's
Oh,
right.
you
Hey,
too,
I did
yeah.
meet
There
you.
go.
Of course, I met
Yeah,
you.
buddy. Yeah. Hey,
Um,
record log holder right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Dan's not doing it either. I don't think he's just still feeling kind of.
I think it's still fried.
Same
Yeah, a
here.
little
Like,
bit. It's just-
like if I wanted to do it like weeks ago, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna come after the Arnolds. I'm
Yeah.
gonna feeling great. I'm gonna bang out a big log, but it's not
It was,
there.
it was just one more thing to think about that he just
Right.
it just was not in the cards
Yeah.
for that, and that's absolutely fine. So we're gonna have a big open space for guys to come in and hit some big logs, which will be nice. So I think, like I said, we have like 30 plus competitors, so it's gonna be fucking awesome. We're gonna raise some good money. I'm really
Any
excited
big numbers
about
you
that.
figure? Anybody that you know is
I would love to see what Langlar hits. I would love to see what Ladanian hits.
Yeah.
Ladanian hit a pretty easy 260, I think, in training
Nice.
here.
and
And
if
he's-
Langlar can get his legs underneath him, he could hit 300
yeah.
plus.
Ladanian,
Yeah,
I
that's-
fixed a couple
that's-
small technical things with him, and it was a lot easier for him. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
Let's see what the
Is
next.
Brian doing it?
No, he said he wasn't.
No, he's not. No.
Yeah, let's see what the next 300.
Yeah, I wouldn't
300 log
I wouldn't be
pressers.
shocked at all to see
Yeah.
Langlar put up 300.
Who would be
that
the next?
day.
Yeah, he'll be the next 300. Corey's coming in.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy hit 270. Jeremy from my gym hit
Yeah,
270
see,
recently.
he's
pretty
actually
easily.
looking a lot better, man.
Yep, he's improving very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think that 300 is not far. If it's not there, it's not far.
Is
Well,
Mondor signed up?
Mondor?
Yeah.
No, I have not heard.
Never
from him.
mind. Chris Lambert, what did he put up at the gym last week? Like
He just missed 300. He has his clean.
He didn't get the 300 clean, but
Yeah.
he put up 275
Yeah.
or something, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
I got to work with him. I messaged him some stuff and his clean.
He's got that big belly. Clean should be no problem. At
I
all
know
for him.
it's all wrist position. I broke it down for him, so he was.
Yeah, so that's very exciting. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that one, and we got a bunch of lady lifters too that we never seen before, so that's exciting. We got
Yeah, that's wild.
some new people from my gym who are doing it, just like the regular women who train here or want to get in strongman now. So
You talk about delayed
working.
You talk about delayed gratification.
Yeah,
We've been planting these seeds. I've been I've been promoting strongman now for 2017. I think I ran my first comp.
yep.
So I've been 7 years of promoting, and I've ran a lot of shows, and trying to get people in, and trying to put seeds in the sport. And it's hard to get people. Hey, come into a sport where there's no money, your body's gonna hurt, and you have a hard time putting your socks on in the morning.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
fat.
sign me up.
Yeah.
Right, and then we joined up a couple years ago, and we really started drilling these things.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing
Look at it now. Like
30
how much it's grown.
something, 3 teen boys, 1 teen girl.
Yeah.
If I can get my daughter compete, we'll have 2, but she's.
Hope so. We
I'm
hope
trying.
so.
Yeah.
We
And,
we have more competitors at our log one than we've ever had.
Yeah.
We've now surpassed what we hit last year, which was the most we've ever had for the novice competition.
Yeah.
Right.
We got a ton of women. We got at least 3 teens, which we've never seen before. It's really exciting, and I think for a lot of the women too is that we can thank a lot of the hard work that people like say Mel Peacock and Sam Beliveau are doing too, where they're making this big
Yes.
like look at us, like we are fucking super strong, and it gives people
And
something to
actually, I
strive
use
for.
Mel as
think.
example to my daughter.
Right.
Because Mel has arthritis.
That's right, she
and,
does,
And
yeah,
Morgan has, and so like when she's doing log, you watch her knees. They go, and her knees have had issues because that's where arthritis was, and it's caused issues with the amount of swelled and everything. I'm like, Morgan, you can do this. Like, well, my knee hurts. Yeah, but it's not the arthritis flaring up. It's your
Mel's
knee
knees
hurts.
fucking hurt too,
Yeah.
Morgan, and she's still doing it.
Yeah. So I'm like, and she needs that, right? Because she's an aggressive person, but she's
Right.
just really shy. So
Right.
I'm excited. It's good. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really, really awesome time for strongman.
32.
Manitoba.
I don't even know how they're all fitting in my gym.
I don't know how I'm going to fit everybody in this gym for lifting. It's going to be a very tight squeeze. There's Jen giving us the one
You couldn't
finger.
see her because she was about to hide in
Yeah,
Pat's head.
telling Devin he's number one. Okay, so we have that. We have we'll give it just really fast here. We have June 8th in the hometown of our boy here, Morris, Manitoba. Manitoba's strongest man and woman.
Yes.
Yeah,
July
excited for that.
1st, we have Vita Canada Day competition there, which is always an exciting one, really fun. Even if you're not competing, I encourage people to go check that one out. It's a really great time. We also have Western Canada's strongest man that day, and we also have Canada's strongest man 105 that day. So we have a ton of stuff going on.
We're all at a different show.
That's the shit. So I can never come support you or you because I have to run the show here.
We have a lot going on that day. It's going to be a very exciting day to keep up with Strongman in Manitoba that day. Where does that put us? July.
August, we got
August 3rd.
provincials. August 3rd?
What do we have August 3rd?
Oh, man. Wow. Fucking Magnus.
Yes.
My bad. Literally had a Zoom call with Magnus Say for half an hour going over things.
Yes.
Yeah, the Magnus, which is going to be.
It's going to be fucking stacked this
me and
year.
Magnus running the show this year, just the two of us. And Brad, the three of us, me, Brad, Magnus, and Monica. I got to give her credit. She's going to kill me.
Yeah.
She's violent.
And she scared me into signing up.
Man, the quality athletes applying for this, it's high.
Name some of the places they're from.
Austria, United Kingdom, England. Like people are Scotland. We got applications coming in from all for the Gimli show.
It's crazy.
Which is, I'm excited. I want to let all the international, but I talked to my SA. I'm like, we got a lot of applications. We can only take we can take about 65% of them. So there's going to be at least 8 or 10 guys are not getting in.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm just labeling them from last place till our entrance cutoff. The top 15 guys I can't even. I'm trying to like do 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, they're very close.
Right.
So I'm just gonna take the bottom ones out, and these who we're inviting.
Some of the names that you were kind of giving me hints on, they're fucking crazy.
Are guys who are pro.
Yeah, very big, strong guys.
Yeah.
So that'll be an awesome competition. At the very least, it'll be a fucking great one to watch.
Yeah. And the events are going to be cool this year.
Yeah.
Are they changing it up this year?
Yeah, I mean, managed to work some things. It's going to be fun.
Gilman's such a great show. I really encourage anybody who's even has just the mildest interest in watching Strongman to go out to that one because it's run really well, it's fast, the talent's really high, and just Gimli's such a beautiful place.
The crowd is upwards of like 600-800 people.
The Icelandic Festival is so fun and just so nice. Like I'd never gone there before. I'm Icelandic myself, and I've never gone before competing there. And I look forward to it so much every year.
It was a fun show competing in there.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
really
that one
was.
last year.
Sunny. It's like the perfect summer day. Those competitions always. Yeah.
And you got the water in the background.
Yeah, right in front of the statue. Yeah, it's beautiful.
You got David Nolay singing a French national anthem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff going on there. And then August 10th, we have provincials, right? Is that what we?
It looks like Winkler
saying that.
Yeah. Pretty comfortable. I think we're 90% there.
Okay, awesome.
That's going to be in Winkler this year. Go back to the Harvest Festival is what we're looking at.
Yep, and then we have a couple things that are kind of
the birth of strongmen in this area.
That's what I was saying. It's a lot of strongman history there. We'll have to get Brent on someday to talk about that one day because I would love to sit and delve into that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But we have a couple of things that are kind of up in the air right now. But we won't get too far into those because they're just not worth mentioning yet until they're more locked in. Pat, thanks so much for coming here, man. Anything you want to add before we get off here? What's your socials?
And you want to get over your head, off your chest?
Social? No, it's all good. You can find me on Instagram. Off my chest? No, I don't know.
No, I said over your head.
Rude. What's your social? What's your Instagram? People can follow you.
You know what? That's a good question. I don't
Coming
know
from a guy
my
who's
Instagram.
taller than
they
him.
want to follow Pat's
Patrick Greg 1.
Patrick Greg
1
to follow the best. But okay, well, I'm gonna throw the thing in arguably because I know that some people might argue that Brent's been to Worlds and stuff, but for my mind, the best U231 athlete to come out of Manitoba.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, Pat. We really do appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. No,
Glad
it
you
was
finally made time and you're busy.
Well,
busy
thanks
farm
for
life.
giving me a 2-day heads up and not a 2-hour heads up this time.
To drive into the city.
You were in the city last time, Pat.
We're not going over this again. But no, it worked out. This was good.
All right, so follow Devin on social media. Follow Strong and Petty. Follow Strong Manitoba. Follow Iron Age, Red River Siding, Training Grounds Gym.
Subscribe to our YouTube.
Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube. Make sure you
We
leave
need
a comment.
interaction.
Yeah, give a thumbs up on
Share
the
with
thing
your
or whatever.
friends.
Yeah,
Share with your mom.
Yeah, you need to keep saying that because I didn't know. I had forgotten. I wasn't even subscribed.
Yeah,
to the new
we got a new
one 'cause-
YouTube channel.
Right, the
we're
new
no longer
page.
on the Whiskey Tango
that's
Podcast
right.
YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
We've changed now. So.
They're no more. So we have our own YouTube channel. So we need to get our subscribers up.
Okay, and let's just for something for the comments. Right now, decide who's the best looking. 1, 2, 3. Me, Pat, or Devin. All right, you guys decide.
I straightened my eyes for that too.
Jen said she saw a photo of you with your eyes straight. She said she did not like it.
I always do it every time.
She said it was really weird. She
Yeah.
didn't
I
like
tell
it.
him every time. It does. He looks not like the same person.
Yeah, you're a different
Freaks me
man.
out.
Anyway, thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you guys after the log comp.